Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Crimson Panda here, back with another Lorcana video. So today we're going to be focusing on something a little bit different on the channel, and we're going to be focusing on off-meta decks. So hopefully this is what I'm going to be doing going forward. So if you're a little bit tired of seeing all the meta decks posted everywhere, then swing by to this channel because we're going to be posting some fun decks that you can play or locals that might not be necessarily top tier and competitive, but if you're taking them to your local events, you're definitely going to surprise a few people with these lists because they're not going to know what to do against your list, whereas you're going to know probably what you're going to do against their list because they're going to be playing something that's probably in the meta. So if that's something you're interested in, then make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel as it helps the channel out a lot. And also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on deck lists and also what decks you guys are playing currently. Fabled is definitely shaking up the meta a little bit, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of off meta decks you guys are playing. But before we get into all of that, a quick shout out from our channel sponsor, and that is going to be CardNexus. So, what is CardNexus? CardNexus is a TCG collection tool which allows you to digitalize your entire physical collection. So, what that means is you're going to be able to see the value of every single card you own. So once you upload your cards to the app, at the moment it is currently in a web browser phase, but the team is working really hard to get an app out next month. So once you have uploaded all of your cards, you'll be able to see how much your entire collection is worth, and you'll be able to see live updates of card increases and card decreases within your collection, which is what this symbol here represents. Also, you'll be able to see what your individual cards go for. So, for example, here we have the daily losers and the daily winners. So, the daily losers here, obviously, Maui Shark has gone down by 3% and is now 34.66, whereas Doc, for example, has gone up by 1.19% and is now an £8 card. So, it's really, really cool tool to be able to see what's inflating and what's deflating when it comes to your card value. So, say you're looking for an important deck or you've seen it somewhere in like a tournament and you know a card is going to increase in value, then you know to buy it in quickly so that it's going to go up because it's going to be a popular deck. Not only that, you can also see from your inventory how much a card is worth. So, for example, we have Alice Growing Girl here, and she is currently sitting at £2.50. Now, this is taking it from all of the top retailers. So, for example, because I am in the Europe, it is taking it from Card Market. So if I come up here, look, it's got the price source is from Card Market. So it's a really, really cool tool to be able to just be in one place looking at all of the value of your cards and obviously it totaling it up. So I haven't got my entire collection on here yet because obviously we're still in beta, but it's definitely something that I can do and it's definitely something that I recommend that you guys should do as well. Now, that is just one feature of what this app is going to be. It's going to be huge. Obviously, there's a lot of TCGs that this is working with. We have games up here. Obviously, I am a Lorcana player, so I fielded it to Lorcana. But we have Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Sorcery, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh's coming as well. So is Flesh and Blood. So every single game here, this app works for everybody. So it's not just for the Disney Lorcana community, it's for all TCG players. And another thing this app is going to offer is we have lists here. So at the minute, I've just made one list and it's cards I need. So you can create a list of cards that you need or that you're looking out for. And it will give you the price of the cards individually. But if you put the quantity in, and for example, I need 4 of both of these, it's going to give me a total value of the cards that I'm in search for, which makes all your trading so much more efficient. And it gives everybody a fair trade. So when you're trading cards for it, or whether you're buying cards or selling cards, which I'll come to in a second, you know exactly straight away how much the value of the cards you're looking for cost, so that you can always be prepared on what you're looking for. So another feature that is going to be coming to CardNexus is a fully integrated marketplace. So you're going to be able to buy, sell, and even trade with other players around the world by creating lists that you and everybody else can see. So if you're searching for some specific cards, you'll be able to find a seller that possibly has all of those cards in one place and just buy them all off of them or trade with them, anything that they might need from you via doing a little chat back and forth. Also, with a live feed of all of the cards with the increases and decreases of the price, you're always going to find the cards at the right price for you and the seller. So you're going to be buying it at the best price for yourself, plus the seller's going to be receiving the best price for that card as well. Now, if that wasn't enough, they're also working tirelessly on new features for the app. So not only are they adding different TCGs to the app, they're also working on doing a card scanner. So once the app launches, shortly after, they're going to be adding a card scanner, which is going to be making it really easy for you to add your entire collection. You're going to be able to just scan a card instead of having to type it in. It's really, really tedious having to, for example, search for a card. If you was to add for an inventory, you do a quick search and you have to search for a card. So it's really, really frustrating having to search for a card and then adding the quantity. So for example, all is found and you'd have to type in the quantity. With the card scanner, which they're going to be adding to the app, you're just going to be able to scan your entire collection and just add it that way, which makes it so much faster and a lot more consistent when it comes to what card you actually have, instead of having to look through your binder, counting how many cards, and then searching for it on the thing to add individually. And also they're going to be adding a binder scanner so that you can just open a page of a binder and you're going to be able to scan the entire page, and then it's going to add all of those cards in. You won't have to search for any names. The only thing you'll have to do manually is add the quantity that you own, which is absolutely fantastic. And if that wasn't enough, they are also adding more features to the app, which is going to be decks. So as you can see here, it says coming soon. They obviously have a lot of TCGs to go through, but they're going to be adding deck builders to all the TCGs so that you can build a deck. It will go into your decks list here, and then if you're missing any cards, you'll be able to just either buy, swap, or sell in order to get those cards that you're missing, which is going to be something I'm really interested in. And hopefully they're going to add a public section so that other people can see the decks that you are posting, kind of like a Dreamborn thing where you can upvote and downvote on specific decks. I think that will bring a lot of people to this app, on top of the collection and the marketplace. So that is what CardNexus is all about. So if this is something that interests you, which if you're a TCG player or collector, it should. I reckon there's going to be a lot of people using this app in the next coming months once it is released. So make sure you get on board now. There will be a link in the description below where you can sign up for free and start using the web browser today and start adding your collection to see how much your collection is worth. Also, I will receive a small commission for signups if you use that link, which I will be sending back into my YouTube channel for future giveaways. So if you sign up with that link, then keep a lookout for giveaways in the future. So with all that being said, let's head over and check out today's video. Okay, so today's video, we're going to be checking out a off-meta blur pool deck called FlingerHealer. Now, this list was put together by a guy called Malfu over on the 20 Lore Discord channel. So there's a lot of deck builders over on that channel, so make sure you check it out. We've all heard of the red-purple Flinger Dinger deck. Now, this is going to be the blur pool version, but with a lot of spice. And the main part of that spice is going to be Grandpappy. Grandpappy reads, whenever you remove one or more damage from one of your characters, gain 2 lore. And there is plenty of ways to do that in this deck, which I'll talk about in a little while. But first, let's just break down the deck. So let's start off with our 1-drops. So in our 1-drop slot, we have Basil and Develop Your Brain. So Basil was really good in this list. A lot of people forget his support ability, but Basil makes all of your characters that little bit more threatening, especially your evasive characters. For example, if you have Basil out on turn 1 and he's doing nothing for a few turns, but you drop a genie down, your genie now can, once you quest with Basil, it'll be able to take out a Dumbo, it'll be able to take out an opposing genie, and it just stops your opponent from going sideways with those evasive characters, which they usually would. So yeah, Basil definitely the underdog of the deck and is a really strong include. Next we have Develop Your Brain. So Develop Your Brain isn't really a 1-cost card. If you get it on turn 1, it's your only one, then by all means either ink it or use it. But it's definitely more of a late game card so that you can use it to search for some tools to get you out of a sticky situation, or maybe even to set up a following turn so that you can try and combo out some of these cards. Next up, we have our 2-drop slot. So all we have in our 2-drop slot is Tipo and Sail the Azurite Sea. So it is absolutely essential to find your 2-cost ramp. If you don't have it in your opening hand, there's 8 copies. So you have to find it. So do a full 7 mulligan just to find your 2-drop ramp, because it is absolutely a necessity in this deck. So next up was our free cost. So the only card we actually have in the free cost slot is Into the Unknown. So 9 times out of 10, we are skipping turn 3 and playing a 4 cost on turn 3 because of that all essential 2 cost ramp. So Into the Unknown isn't really acting like a 3 cost card. It's really just a song that any of your characters, apart from 2 of them, can sing. So it's just a really good removal card. So we had to include it into the deck. And the fact that it's inkable is just huge. Having that being stuck in your hand could be really bad. So just being able to use it for ink is just really good as well. Okay, and then moving on to our 4 cost slots. So we have Genie, Madam Mim, Scrooge McDuck, and Everybody's Got a Weakness. So Genie, obviously one of the best 4 drops in the game, especially in purple. You're always going to include this in any purple list as a 4 cost. It gives you a card draw, it's evasive, and it quests for 2. Just a solid card. We also have 2 copies of Madam Mim in the deck. Obviously, she is going to be moving damage from herself onto your opponent at the start of every turn. So if you manage to get a Grandpappy down, then you're going to be getting some, obviously, if you do some trades and put damage on her, you're going to be getting some free lore without questing. She only quests 1, so getting a value trade and then being able to move the damage next turn for 2 lore is great. There's also Scrooge McDuck, a 5/5 questing for 2. Yes, it's uninkable, but we've seen it in the past. It's just a solid 4 cost that comes down, threatens the board, threatens lore gain, and just must be removed. And as our action, we have Everybody's Got a Weakness. So this is obviously going to help with Grandpappy. If you can time this with a couple of minions on board and a Grandpappy, you're going to be gaining a lot of lore and you're going to be gaining a lot of card draw as well. You're going to probably kill something at the same time because you're going to be moving the damage from each of your characters. So if you can try and plan this around trying to kill one of your opponent's characters, plus drawing a bunch of cards and gaining lore, it's just an awesome turn. And moving into our 5 cost slot, so we have Belle, Accomplished Mystic, we have Elsa, Baymax, and Scrooge McDuck as our characters, and then we also have Finders Keepers as our action. So Belle, we all know what Belle does. When she comes down, she's able to move damage from one of your characters, which is what we're trying to do with the deck. If Grandpappy's down, then great, we're going to be gaining lore as well. But Belle being an inkable 5 cost 4/4, which deals damage and can quest for 2, is obviously just a really good card. And then we have Elsa. Elsa, very much like Genie, has to be included into every single purple deck. So Elsa obviously going to be turning those evasive sideways that you can't necessarily target if they're trying to keep them up, or any kind of card that they're trying to protect. Elsa is going to be able to just turn it sideways. So having 4 copies of her is absolutely essential. Then we have Baymax. Baymax is another combo piece with Grandpappy. So when you play Baymax, you get to heal up 2 damage from a character and gain 2 lore. So if you manage to do that with a Grandpappy on the board, you're going to be gaining 4 lore. So it's sometimes even worth trading with a Grandpappy, getting a value trade, bringing Baymax down on the play to be able to heal up the Grandpappy, gaining the 4 lore, 2 from the Baymax, and then 2 from Grandpappy. So you're not necessarily missing out on that 3 quest with Grandpappy. So you can kind of still control the board at the same time as gaining the lore that you probably would have if you just quested. So Baymax a very solid card in this list. And then we also have Donald Duck. So Donald Duck is just an extra ramp tool. Being inkable is great. You're not going to want to be using them all the time, especially as some of the other 5 costs are obviously better. But he's going to get you to that turn 7 so that you can play your Grandpappy and you can play your Hades to try and remove anything that might be threatening. So Donald just an extra ramp tool for the mid to late game. And then also we have Finders Keepers, which is 5 costs, draw 3 cards. So if you get stuck, if you don't manage to find Everybody's Got a Weakness to deal on a nice turn, then you always got turn 5. If you've managed to control the board with trades and moving damage, then just drawing 3 cards for 5 cost is nice. And you can always do that on turn 4 if you don't have any other 5 costs to play or any other 4 costs to play. So solid card, definitely had to add it in the list. Okay, and now that brings us to our 7 costs. So we have 2 copies of Grandpappy and 4 copies of Hades. So even though the deck is built around gaining lore and moving damage, you don't really want to be having 4 uninkable 7 costs in your hand, other than Hades. Hades is the exception because it's just a powerful card. But yeah, Grandpappy, you're just going to be gaining lore and questing. So you don't really want to be having too many. If you manage to get him down and use it with some of the combo pieces, then great. That's what the deck is supposed to do. But if you don't, then you're not sad, because you can still quest with a lot of your characters. The majority of them quest for 2, so you're going to be getting quite a lot of lore anyway as the game goes on. But he's just there to give you that extra push. So only 2 copies of him. And then obviously Hades. Hades is just an insane card. If you're playing Blurple, everyone's playing Hades, and everybody has to respect that you're playing it. So they're going to have to do stuff they're probably not going to want to do with some of their characters, because they know a Hades might come down the following turn to just remove them. So that is the list. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. FlingerHealer, obviously, Blurple is a great deck at the moment. So having one that's a little bit off meta and a little bit more fun to play other than just playing stuff on curve. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you do. Consider subscribing to the channel as well. I'm going to be posting a lot more off meta decks here, so make sure you don't miss out on those. And I will see you in the next video.